Many a times this thought has perplexed me, that where and how does self-doubt come from? As I turned my gaze into my childhood and observed how the environment was where I grew up, I came upon some understanding that conditioning plays a big role in how we feel about ourselves. And how we feel about ourselves determines how we feel about our life. Somewhere the word conditioning is defined as a process of changing behavior by rewarding or punishing a subject each time an action is performed until the subject associates the action with pleasure or distress. There are also different categories of conditionings. However, to make it sound simple, I'd say it is a unique response to a certain stimuli. Now think about it. The number of ways we've been conditioned to think, to feel, to be, to act. If we were to make a list, I'd say it would turn into a book divided into many, many volumes. But thankfully, that's not something I'd suggest. However, I do feel that the need to uncondition our mind of wrong conditioning is of primary importance. To succeed, to grow, to accomplish, to attain our goals, to overcome limitations, to eliminate anxiety, fear, worry, self-doubt, to lead a healthy and happy life, awareness of our own conditioning is extremely crucial. Unless we have a clear understanding of how we operate, getting out of the mental cage we imprison ourselves in would be almost an impossible task to achieve. So here's an example I'm sharing from my own life. Throughout my childhood, as I learned and made mistakes, often in return I got to experience rejection, disapproval, mockery, humiliation, sometimes minor, sometimes severe, that gave way to overwhelming self-doubt, discouragement and failure. And thus my mind began to see mistake or failure as something that leads to rejection and asking for help as a sign of defeat. Unaware, I started living my life with this unspoken rule that I can't fail or ask for help. And whenever I did, I rejected myself. Self-doubt, low self-esteem, guilt, and shame started building up. And over a period of many, many years, I found myself turning into a person whose life revolved around protecting herself from making mistakes or failing or asking for help. Unknown to me, this ideology started spreading in all aspects of my life, be it social interactions or trying something new or doing anything at all. And so life for me became a constant struggle with unending rejection for my own self by my own self. And since I did that to myself, I found myself projecting it onto others when they failed me. However, my resolve to evolve and overcome limitations pushed me to finally break that mental barrier. Throughout the process of releasing the old ideology that I identified myself with so strongly, I came upon some of these unique ways to uncondition my mind and break down the bars of the invisible cage I found I had imprisoned myself in. First and foremost, find something that moves you like nothing else does, something that will force you, but with love, and make you do things you never knew you could. Like a mother's love for her child will make her do things in life that she thought she never had the courage to even think about. For me, that anchor has been a very strong and sincere urge to evolve and learn and support others who need help. Find your anchor and lean on it when the going gets tough, so that it can get you out of your misery and redirect you to the right direction. Take a look around you and see who supports you the way you would like to be supported. If there isn't anyone, then become one yourself. As you get on this path of self-improvement and empowerment, the universe will present help in different ways as well. If impatience runs in your family like it does in mine, find someone who has a lot of patience and ask them for help. Spend time with them, and you're bound to learn the way they handle people and circumstances in life. The unhealthy conditioning of impatience to turn into a favorable conditioning of patience won't happen effortlessly. First, you have to begin with being patient with your own self, and only then will it begin to translate onto others. It will take a lot of effort, and sometimes hopelessness might set in. But guess what? Never giving up attitude in the midst of failure, self doubt, hopelessness is the secret and not so secret route to reach that final destination of freedom. Uncondition your mind by awakening your hidden powers of self awareness. Yes, you heard that right. Self awareness is a power, and in many it is hidden. See what happens when something triggers you. Watch the process unfold before you. See how your posture changes, how your breath changes, how a primary feeling in the background of your thoughts will change your demeanor. And then a series of multiple thoughts will begin to rise and cause a chaotic storm in your mind. And when caught in the storm of feelings and thoughts, you will experience losing control of yourself. And then you enter the downward spiral of negativity, which, when continued, leads one to the bylanes of self-doubt, defeat, fear, worry, helplessness, hopelessness, and other inimical ideas about oneself. Decisions made in such low states often do not serve us. Since the mind is so caught up with the thoughts and feelings, it loses clarity. Now, what if you catch yourself right on time and do not allow your posture to change? If it does, sit upright, open your chest, keep your chin parallel to the ground, allow your shoulders to relax. Try to do the opposite of what the body might do when something triggering occurs. Now, coming to breath. Take deep breaths in through the nose and imagine collecting the negative feeling, and longer breaths out through the mouth. Imagining releasing that feeling. As you continue to work with the body and breath, check the mind. Grab that one negative thought about yourself that's coming up strongly and change it at once into its opposite. For example, if the thought says, I am not good enough, you change it into, I am perfect. If it says, I am a failure, you change it into, I am victorious. And feel free to add more positive words into it if you'd like to. I sure love that, and usually add words such as, I can do anything I put my mind to. But don't forget to add the most important ingredient of trying to feel that way as well. Bring both your heart and mind to it. Repeat the positive thought as many times as you need to, loudly or softly or only whispering or just mentally. That positive thought can be used as an affirmation throughout the day to gain results sooner. Don't give in to the negative feeling just because the experience is so. You change your reality by changing your response to any experience. And that's how you will gradually uncondition and train your mind to support you through and through. And now, on to the absolute, perfect, and the highest way to release any self-defeating conditioning, the one and only meditation. That is the one-word answer to all the problems whatsoever, and I speak from my own personal experience. When done patiently, regularly, correctly, and with perseverance, over time it lifts our consciousness that is identified with the body, thoughts, emotions, and mind to a higher state of identification with the self that is beyond them all. When identified with that self, we perceive ourselves as ever blissful divine beings and get to meet the self that remains untouched by the external experiences of the body or mind. And when in that superior state, positive affirmations are repeated with an ever-increasing effort to feel their meaning within our consciousness, putting our heart into it with zeal, their vibrations permeate the cells our body is composed of. And the innate intelligence within each cell begins to upgrade as the mind experiences upliftment and freedom from identification with the lower states. This process is certainly easier said than done. However, it is accessible to all those who are ready to put in the right efforts with the right attitude, working towards the goal unceasingly, ardently. Bid adieu to those incorrect ideologies that conditioning cannot be reversed or that people cannot change. I'd say anyone can change. They just have to want it a bit more than those who have accepted that their fate lies not in their hands. So, what would you choose to be now that you know that you can choose who you want to be?